Hi, my name is Laura Ruckel, and I'm here to talk to you about the PowerStrips with FG Express. I want to tell you about my experience that I had with them. I had chronic pain. The PowerStrips came along in January of this year, and for 2 years I had taken ibuprofen for chronic pain in my neck and shoulder area. I was taking about 8 to 12 ibuprofen a day just to mask the pain. It was a way of life for me. So I took, 4 in the morning and 4 in the evening and went to bed and didn't think anything else about it. Not realizing what I was doing to my insides and how bad it was messing up my stomach area and my intestine area. So in January I got a flu shot and the blood shot across the room, and the nurse was very alarmed with how thin my blood was. So she narrowed it down and finally asked me if I was taking ibuprofen. I was like, well, yeah. And she said, how much? And I said, well, 8 to 12 a day probably. She's like, that's way too much ibuprofen. You really need to get checked. And before I could make my doctor's appointment to go get checked for my chronic pain in my shoulders, about 4 days later, the PowerStrips were introduced to me. And I tried them out, and probably within less than 48 hours, I started feeling relief from the PowerStrips. And then by the second dose of the PowerStrips, so probably within 72 to 74 hours, I had complete relief in the chronic pain in my shoulders. So I've been wearing the PowerStrips since January. Never had to take ibuprofen and never had to make my doctor's appointment. And that's what I have gotten from the PowerStrips. And I also want to talk to you about the SolarStrips as well. I've been taking the SolarStrips from FG Express since March of this year. I am prone to bronchitis, strep throat, colds, sinus infections, usually running to the doctor at least once a month. I have not had one doctor's appointment since March. No sinus infection, bronchitis, nothing since I've been on the SolarStrips. I take one a day in the morning, and that has kept me well for that many months. So that's what's happened with me with FG Express, PowerStrips, and SolarStrips together. And I hope that you can get relief from them as well.